Right, I've started the recording, turning you over. Hey, Brad, what's up today?
Hello, Scott. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Just give me a little chat in the question box so that I know that you can hear me and that you're seeing my desktop. Appreciate that, Mike, Stephen, Robert, Brian. Appreciate that, guys. So welcome to our Wednesday webinar. Folks, I'm not feeling the best today, a little bit under the weather, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter one, maybe half hour or so, but I'm going to do my best here to talk to you about the great things that we're doing here at Trade Ideas, show you our software, and hopefully answer any questions that you may have. This is our interactive QA webinar. We do this every Wednesday. I'm going to do a little bit of a product demonstration, talk a little bit about our software. But guys, this is really your webinar, so please, if you have any questions, direction that you want me to go, I'm more than happy to do that. It's pretty flexible time here. So let me just start off with our disclaimer. We are not a registered investment advisor, but what we are is a software technology company. We do the best in the industry at providing actionable intelligence to you from the stock market. We're scanning the market for every single tick of every stock, and when stuff that's interesting is happening, we're able to bring that to you in real time so that you as a trader can make that trading decision and participate in some of the great moves that exist out in the stock market. By no means think that the stuff that I'm going to show you, which has some incredible return potential, the market's not easy. So please know that. The market, well, everybody's not going to be successful in the market, so I'll just say that right now. It's a difficult place to earn your chops, but once you have achieved that understanding, it's just a really fantastic place to participate and earn some cash. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start off talking a little bit about our software before I dive into a demonstration of it. We've been doing this for quite some time. We've been doing it for about 16 years and focusing specifically on idea generation, focusing on the technology that kind of lights up your desktop with the stocks that are moving in the market. We do some really interesting things as we're ingesting all of this market data in real time prior to delivering it out to you. We do some great things technologically in our data center where we create new data. We call it metadata, but essentially we're bringing all this data in and we're creating these new forms of data that hopefully will allow you to spot these opportunities. New data like, let's say relative volume, for instance, which is a really simple filter, something that's available to everybody in all these different windows, but it's really powerful because just as what it does on a high level, it's taking a look at the volume that's currently happening in the stock and letting you know based on a ratio of how much volume is happening now compared to normal. So like a simple value of 2 is just letting you know that this stock is trading 2 times its normal volume right here and now at this point in time. And it keeps these statistical baselines for all these different metrics, whether it's volume or price action, for every stock throughout the day. So it knows, stock XYZ moves a little bit more in the morning than it does in the afternoon. So it knows all of that, and it keeps those baselines so that it can deliver this to you in real time. So in addition to that metadata, this is a full-on platform. So over 16 years, we've been adding components to the software to inevitably get to a real platform here where we allow you to create strategies. It's really it's a moldable piece of clay. You could really create any type of strategy that you want in the software with any number of different windows. And I'll show you the different windows. It's how you can ingest the alert and the top list technology. So we have the creation, the configuration, the analysis. We've done back testing. It's a little bit different than most other back testing tools that allow you to take a single stock and throw it back 10 years and see how to best effectively work that stock in the market. This is more of a strategy type of environment. So you're creating a strategy, and then from that strategy, you're going to employ a set of rules, and it'll let you know based on those rules how that strategy would have done if you would have bought or sold or done the very same instance of what you're trying to do. So it really gives you a nice idea. If you're creating these windows, it allows you to use the historical data to hopefully allow you to create a nice forward tested strategy window. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about Brokerage Plus, which is our strategy execution module. And this thing is almost ready to, well, it's been released, but we're doing some upgrades to it, effectively adding in some paper trading so that you don't need to have a brokerage account, or you don't need to have it connected to your brokerage account to do some trading. and keep track of your profit and loss. So I talked a little bit about the different visualization windows that we have. We're going to talk specifically about 3 of them today: the alert window, the top list window, and the multi-strategy window. They kind of all operate in a similar but different way, and I'll show you the little nuances of those as we go through the channels and highlight some of the different windows that we have and the configurations that you can set up. Of course, we have charting. Our compare count windows in the upper right hand corner. The compare count window allows you to pit 2 strategies against each other, so in real time during the market you can basically see are the bulls or the bears winning, and again you can configure that any way that you want. The single stock window really gives you a deep dive into any particular security, but that deep dive is inclusive of all the different data characteristics that we have and that we're looking for. The price alerts is an invaluable tool. Recently, we've brought this piece of functionality to the standard subscription. Previously, it was only in our premium subscription. So now it's available for everybody, and it's just a great way to identify threshold moves. You basically spot a line on the chart, and when that stock crosses that line in real time, you're going to be alerted to that. And this is another component of the software that we're going to be modifying to be able to bring in more mobile-centric notifications, as well as some additional actionability that can be taken from an execution perspective off of these signals. So it's a great piece of functionality, and it's just going to be getting a little bit better. All right, here is this is our Trade Ideas Pro and the web, and we have both of these versions available. This here is highlighting the backtesting functionality, which is again available in both the application and the web. And I'll show you a little bit about the web version, because we're in the process of enhancing that as well and really bringing it up to the full functionality that we have inside of the application. Finally, a little bit about Brokerage Plus. This is your strategy automation tool. This allows you to take any window in Trade Ideas, right-click on it, and have that trade automatically sent to your broker. In this particular case, we're set up right now with Interactive Brokers. What's really nice and sophisticated about that order setup is you can include your stop loss, your profit target, your time stop, if you want to include that in that right-click order. So very, very quickly with a right-click, you can get to market, put that order out there the way that you want it, and have all those other metrics already added to that order. In addition, it really gives you that ability to manage your P&L by giving you that historical view from the inception of the day through where you are at that particular point in time. So you can see whether your profitability is growing, is increasing, or decreasing from a historical perspective, and that's pretty valuable, as well as the ability to really do some rapid executions. But in addition to that right click, you can do some other really cool things with the Brokerage Plus. You can automate a strategy. So you can use that odds maker backtesting tool to create a strategy, make sure that the metrics are all good, and then drop that strategy right into Brokerage Plus and have it automatically, anytime a signal is generated, send that to the market and have that executed in the manner that you want to have it executed. And then finally, the third component of Brokerage Plus is the ability to automate the AI signals. So the artificial intelligence signals that we're generating through the different channel, you can see, I'll show you through the channel bars here, but we've incorporated that into Brokerage Plus and now giving you the ability, if you want, to have it automated. So let's go ahead and move this out to the side. Well, let me just bring in the web version, show you a little bit about that first before I get into the application. So you can get to the web version right from our website, trade-ideas.com, and you go ahead and hit that TI for the web. Same username and password. Very, very similar application. You know, this is obviously being done inside of a browser, but it's very, very sophisticated. You have access to the full channel bar over here. For the most part, I think the same channels exist, and they might be laid out a little bit differently just from a real estate constraint, but for the most part, you're going to be getting the same signals and ideas in these both respective channel bars. So these windows here are pretty modular. I'm just going to kind of show you some of the tips and tricks that you can do. By right-clicking on any of these windows inside of into this channel window, you can go ahead and pop them out. So I can take this and I'm going to go ahead and close the big window, and now I've just popped out this little guy. And so you can move these around or you can just go ahead and open up new windows, create your own layout, and just like in the application, you can really custom configure these, create a workspace, and then be able to retrieve that from our cloud. And the cloud is, it's consistent between the two applications, so I can create something here, save it to my cloud, go to the application and pull it up. So if you need to be on a laptop or you don't have access to the same type of firewall connections, then maybe the web version is something for you. Also, if you're using a Macintosh, an Apple, this is a good way to access our software. Now, it's not fully, I guess all the functionality is not the same between the two. For instance, I don't have Brokerage Plus available inside of the web version. Price alerts aren't there yet, but they'll be coming shortly to it. So there are a few nuances, differences between the two, but for the most part, they operate the same way. And if you know how to configure one of them, right-click menu is the same, context sensitive. Just go into configure and you can go ahead and set it up in a very similar fashion. It's got the tabs up at the top for your alerts and filters, exchanges. Again, so if you know how to do one of them, you're going to know how to do both. A little bit different from a search perspective. I don't have the search tab, but I have it up at the top here. It's actually a little bit better, I think. So that's the web version. I encourage you all to take a look. While I'm here on the website, another thing that I encourage you guys to visit, and that's our trading room. I think Barry's in the room right here answering any questions that you may have, but he's in this particular room during the trading day, a little bit before the market, ends it a little bit before the end of the market. But it's an incredible trading room where guys are using our software in real time. They're making calls. Barry's trading in real time. So you can see how the software is really put to the test and uses. And he's very generous with sharing the different strategies that he creates and that are passed around the room. So it's a great place to visit. I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but this is how you get to it right from our website. So another thing, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but the formula editor, I'm going to add a couple custom filters to the software so you can see how easy it is to do. And then I'll share a couple pages of some really sophisticated custom formulas. So you get all this out of the box and you can really start running right away using the channel bar. You don't need to know how to configure anything. If you like the window, you can just pull it out and pin it to your desktop. You know, you can do all of this without necessarily having to really understand how to configure it. But as you are with us for a while, and if you're successful in the stock market and in using our software, you may want to take it to the next level. And this is a great way to do that. But we'll come back to that. So this is the application. Looks the same as the web version. I like the application myself. I'm, kind of a powered desktop user, so this is very, very comfortable for me. But when I'm mobile, I think the other one is pretty convenient. So right now, we're on our after hours channel. You can get to the different channels right through the channel bar over on the left-hand side, and we've got, I don't know, maybe 26 or so. We've changed all the time, so I have no idea if it's even 26. We have over 20 different channels that we've created for you guys that are theme-based, either based upon the type of windows that are configured here, or based upon the universe or symbol list that it's looking at. Maybe it's looking at just Chinese-specific stocks, or maybe it's looking at the gold sector or the metals industry, something like that. And so we have these broken down into different themes. And right now we happen to be on the after hours, so you can see things that are moving after hours. We've got a couple of different windows that we deliver the data to you. These are top lists over on the left, indicative by the icon, the T icon in the upper left corner. So these are ranked list of stocks, and it's really, you can see the depressed column here, and that's giving me the sort order of the contents of this window right here. So this is looking for stocks that are up and down post-market. So I imagine if I scroll down, I'm going to see the negative ones. Yeah, I do. So these are the strong ones. It's sorted on change for the post-market, so I could click on that and see, and well, Nordstrom really had a nice move. It's funny, I was watching this right before the webinar. I put together this window right here. This is the just a post-market high window. It's doing nothing but looking for post-market highs, and I'll kind of show you how you set something like that up real quick, and just go start from scratch. Type in post. We'll just select the post-market highs. We're going to add the alert. From there, you just select it, and then you can define, how you want it to look. What columns do you want to see? So let's go change post-market. Let's bring both of those in. Let's show those columns. And let me just bring one more in, and that'd be like change from the close. So change from the close, let's do both percent and dollar. And let's go ahead and show those columns. So now I've just kind of created a really simple window. I'm going to name it new post-market highs. So now it's just it's a window without really any filters. It's just sitting there waiting for an event to occur. It's 2:18, so this thing just happened right now. And then anytime a new event's going to occur, it's going to appear in the top line right here. Well, I took something like this right here, and I did a little bit different. I added a column over here, the count column. Let me do that. This tells you how many times that signal, that alert, has been generated today. So let me go ahead and add it. It's a filter, and we're just going to show it. So it's specific to the alert that I'm showing here. This is a post-market high. So that count filter is going to relate directly to that post-market high. So now, again, anytime there's a new alert, I wish there was more data coming through right now, but anytime there's a new alert, it's going to go ahead and trigger right here, and right here at the top of my line. So there's a new one. You can see it's chronologically sorted. So what I did over here is all I did was double click on the count column, brings up this group and sort by dialog box. You can also right click, go to properties, view mode, group and sort. So you can get there that way. I think it's a lot easier just to double click right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sort it based upon this column. So in real time, the cream's going to rise to the top, if you will. So let's do it descending. So we have the highest number on top. And now let's hit OK. So now what you see is it's ranked it. But now anytime there's an update, it's going to turn black. And I have some other filters over here, but anytime there's an update, it's going to turn black, and you can now start to see them rising, right? And so if you click on this, we've got our new post-market high. Bring it down here. So now it's just giving me that information. And if I wanted to put a filter in there and say, I only want to see this post-market high after it's done 5 different times, I would set my minimum count to 5. So, and once you know how to configure one filter, configuring any of them is super easy. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'm going to duplicate it. And the reason why I'm going to duplicate it is because I don't want this data to disappear over there. So it can keep running and keep moving. But if I go to configure and I go to my Windows specific filters, I go to the bottom because there's my count. And I could say now I only want to see counts that are above 3. So now anytime something comes in this window here, that count is going to be above 3. I'm not going to see any of these guys down here. So that's kind of the process of configuring and using the group and sort by. There's another great purpose for the group and sort by as well. Let me show you that. So let's go down to one of the bottom channels. This is a channel that's going to be going away today at some point. This is our AI curated channel. We're going to be bringing it back, and we're going to be bringing it back so that it's permissioned exclusively for the premium subscribers. And so it's just another way to take a look and to utilize our AI data. So let's just go to it real quick. And so looks like Barry may have deleted the symbols, but that's okay. So essentially, this is not going to work without any symbols in it. So let me see how I can do it. That's okay, Barry. Because I really want to show you this. Okay, let's do that. Let's just go to Barry's evening scan. All right, so thank you, I appreciate it. I could have done it on my own if I wasn't so brain dead right now. Okay, so we've got a particular alert window right here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just run a history. So everything, you don't have to always be waiting for the real-time data when you're configuring something. Oftentimes using this history is really effective. So let's just do history for today. The symbols don't matter, Barry, it's okay. So what it's doing here is loading, it's still going through, and it's gonna pull in the last 1,000 events in this particular window. You can always query more after that, but so it's going to deliver 1,000 events. So we'll let it come through and do that. Okay, so now that it gave me the title up here, I can tell that it's finished. So now as I'm looking through, I got, okay, well there's Nordstrom, and I go down, there's Nordstrom, but when did it first trigger? You know, I've got all these duplicates and repeats, but really what I want to know when I'm looking at this window right here is, had I been watching it in real time, when was the first instance of every one of these signals? So let's do that. Let's go ahead and duplicate it so that I have a copy of it. Just move it on over here. So now this is where I'm going to use my group and sort by, but this time I'm going to do a group and sort by symbol. So again, I can just double click on symbol right here. And this time I want to use the oldest, right? So I want the first time that essentially triggered in the window. And then let's make it descending. Now that's not going to matter, right? This is sorting the symbol, because after this is done with the sort, I'm going to do it on time. So let's just run it right here and see what happens. Now it's still constrained to the 1,000 events. Wait, did I not run the history here? Okay, now I have to run the history for today. So as it's loading it all in there, once all that data has been brought into the window, it should then exclude all the duplicates and just show me the very first instance of every alert. So let's see. And like I said, it may not be the first instance because this is such a noisy window, but no, there we go. So looks like it did. So now let's go ahead and sort on time. I'm just gonna double click right there. And so now we've taken this window, we've sorted it on time. This was the very first signal of Urban Outfitters. Let's zoom out a little bit. So let's just kind of move up through the list and see what we got going here. So now you can see, based on the arrow and this red line, where that actual trigger was, right? So when this event came in, this is basically the candle that signaled that event. Didn't happen for, you know, a couple hours, several hours after, but then it did break and gave you some good opportunity. So you can kind of see here, you know, ARWR, another very nice, interesting concept here. So this is a curated list from Barry, and if you go to the trading room, I'm sure he'll talk a little bit about kind of what he did to create it. But like the AI curation, this is something that he goes through every night, and he's looking for opportunities for the next day. He's creating these this environment of symbols, and we're then taking it the next day, or Trade Ideas rather, is taking that list of symbols the next day, and based on the configuration of these windows, it's going to deliver these real-time ideas. So again, this is something that you can use to scan the universe of stocks, every stock out there, or what you can do is you can create a list of stocks and have the software focus specifically on that as well. So tons of channels, guys. I mean, this is really the bread and butter of getting started here, because, you know, for instance, you can go to our social media channel. What we do is we connect to StockTwits, and in real time, we're monitoring all the social chatting that's going on with the different symbols that are out there. And when people start to type and chat about a symbol more often than they normally do, well, that's where this particular filter really kicks in, the StockTwits relative activity. So just like trading volume, when a stock starts to trade much more than normal, your volume goes up, your relative volume goes up. Well, this is the relative social activity is going up. And this is not a ratio, this is a percentage. So something like Keys, which I know is ripping after hours, because it had earnings after hours, right? So it's just ripping after hours, and you can see here that it's also being talked about. And oftentimes volume, trading volume and social volume are really moving parity with each other. Sometimes one before the other, but oftentimes you're going to see a real kind of similar mix in ratios between the two. Other interesting things that we have, like on this particular top list here, the position in 20-day range. So we have all of these different range filters, both that you can configure and to see. So without pulling any of these up on a chart, this 20-day range is letting me know where that stock is right now compared to its 20-day high and its 20-day low. So these three stocks right here are obviously trading really strong and on the highs of that particular range. Whereas you can go down, and now you start to see guys that are trading towards the lower end of that range. So we have this position and range filter in all different time frames, whether it's intraday time frames, the daily time frame, which is probably the most popular one. See where that is in relationship to its intraday high and low. But also on longer term, position in year range, position in lifetime range. So all those are available to you as well. So I mean, I could spend hours and hours and hours on these different channels and going through the neat ones. I think the Alpha Predator, I mean, I'll leave you with this one because this is the one that it's like my bread and butter, the one I always go to. It's always finding really interesting stocks. You have to be careful. Some of these are a little thinner, so you have to definitely be careful as you enter into some of them and be aware of their trading pattern. Just like anytime you're putting on a position, you should have an idea. What's the spread? What's the volume? What's my ability to get out when it starts to go against me? And these are all the things that you should use to help you decide how you're going to position size it and whether you're even going to take that opportunity or not. But just a great channel. You should go here because no matter what's happening during the day, there are always stocks that are really ripping and moving from a momentum perspective or bucking the trend. So this is something that I really do enjoy, and I think it finds nice trades for me and my style, but everybody's kind of got to find their own way. It's not for everybody, so just kind of make yourself aware that it's there. So I want to talk a little bit about the formula editor, because I'm just going to kind of go really quick into it. Let's go back to our website, and from here you just want to go make sure that you're logged in. I'm going to log into my iReadKitty4 account. So once you go there, let's go to the custom formulas area, and I'm just going to scroll. Don't need to worry about what I have here, but I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, point out this help file. If you want to make your own filters, this is like a 6-page document, pretty simple. You don't need to be a programmer to use it, and I'll show you really how easy it is. So let me just open this up in a new tab. Oh, I'm going to stay right here. Let's do 16, 17, 18, and 19. What I want to do is I'm just going to add 4 very simple filters. I'm going to add the open, the close, the high, and the low. So I'm just going to add those 4 different data points. They're not standard out-of-the-box filters that you would have in the software, because you're not going to really filter on those data points, but you may want to add them to a column. You may want to see, you may want to add it to your single stock window. So this is how you would do it. So let's first of all pick U16. We're going to create a new one. Let me show you the instructions real quick. I'm going to scroll down to like page 5, and these first 2, or these 2 right here, are the 2 that I'm going to use for my close and my open. So most recent close with the underscore between it. I can also pop it out right there. So here, let's do the open. And so for the open, we're going to type in expected open. And the description is going to be open. This is going to be $1 because it's going to be a price. And the format, 2 decimal places, I think will be good. So, all right, so looks like it worked. U16 is now set up. Let's do a couple more. So let's go back, return to my list, come back down to the bottom, U17, create new, and this one here is most recent close. Units are $, format is that. So boom, now we've added close. It will tell you if you had an error right here. So that's why I always kind of scroll down and take a look. 2 more, 18. Now we're going to do, scroll down a little bit, we're going to do today's high and today's low. I mean, it's really that simple. Okay, and 1 more. And really, after you do this a couple times, it really is so easy. And all right, so that's all I need to do here from the website perspective. I'm going to drop these links right here. These are some advanced examples. I mean, there's some great stuff that you can do using these custom filters. 3 pages, well, 3 different documents that are multiple pages. So I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat in a little bit. All right, so now I'm just going to come back to the window here, and let's go back to, let's go to the pre-market channel. Then it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to add these to any one of these windows. So let's take our up gappers, for instance. And the up gappers, let's add some of those. Configure. Now I'll go to search and I'll type in open. There it is, U16. Let me just show the column. Now I'll come here and I'll type in close, scroll down. There's my U17, show the column. High, U18, show the column. And finally, low. Show the column. So it's really that easy. Now I've added these 4 different data points to the software. So now another thing that I could add that would be really interesting. So this is something that you would look at before market. So if you're looking at the gappers window before market, it's kind of a bad example, honestly. You're not really caring so much about the high and the low because the high and the low haven't been established yet. You could be looking at something like the pre-market high. So you could add those. Now that might be more interesting if you add those guys, because now that's something that would be more interesting pre-market. But if you wanted to take something like this and run it real time after the market opens, the only thing that you could do, or I mean, you could do a couple of things, but you could do something really interesting like, say, change from the open. So now you're going to keep track of the stocks as they move higher or lower from the open after the gap. Imagine putting something like this in an alert window and then doing a group and sort by change from the open, and then you start to have these guys that are really starting to run after the gap, kind of like a gap and run. So that's how you would configure a strategy like that. So that's some of the custom filters. Let me drop these pages in the chat. So I'm just going to drop this first link in our chat window. So with that link right there, guys, it's really easy to go to page 2. Just take that 1, turn it to a 2. That's going to get you to page 2, and do the same thing for page 3. So if you're interested in learning more about the custom formulas, I think these 3 blog pages are phenomenal to get you to a point where you can pretty much do anything you want to be able to do with our custom filters. All right. So guys, questions. I'm gonna kind of peek over to the question panel and see if you guys have any questions. Hope I haven't put you to sleep with my sickness right now. All right, no questions. Let me show you a couple things that we're working on. We have our enhanced single stock window that should be coming out very shortly. It's inclusive of insider data. I think for me to get that to work right now, I'd have to go to my test server. You can pull up a stock and you can really see, what insiders are transacting in that security. I guess it doesn't help when I have idea surfing on. And we're going to be adding some more data to our single stock as well as we continue modifying, enhancing, and improving our platform. We don't stop. We don't stand still. We're always doing some great stuff. Like I said, in the horizon, we've got our paper trading mode coming out. We're working on our AI with respect to some longer term ideas, some swing ideas, ideas that you don't necessarily have to get out of at the end of the day, maybe not as many signals for that type of idea. So we're always doing something. My development team is just, I mean, they're probably hating me right now because they always have so much stuff that we ask them to do, but it's a labor of love. We love doing what we do, and we're pretty proud of the product that we've created here. So yeah, let me show you how you can create so turning a top list into an alert window. Pretty easy, and you do have to do a couple of unique things. Let's take this UpGappers right here. Let's take, I mean, I don't know if this will be the best one, but let's do it. Let's right click and let's go to collaborate. So if we go to collaborate, and I copy it. It's been a while since I've done this, to be totally honest, so let's see if this works. Right click, collaborate, paste all. Okay, so now I've got the UpGappers window. Let's right click, go to configure. So now what we have to do, because the top list window, it didn't have, well, the top list window, it's using a couple things that this doesn't have. One, the top list window didn't have a trigger event. So we have to tell it, you know, what's the trigger event that we want to use? Is it going to be a new high? So we could uncheck that and maybe select new high. The other thing that's unique about it, let me go ahead and just kind of move it off to the side. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to show you another thing about this window right here. If I go into configure, this is why this isn't the best example to use. I go to the sort tab, and the sort tab is basically filling the contents of this window here with the stocks that have had the biggest gappers today. So if I'm bringing in 100 symbols, it's going to be 100 stocks that have had the biggest gap of any of the stocks out there. So that's something that also is not going to be translated over here. If I cancel this, right, and I take a look at the window and I scroll down, I see the gap here. Let me go to the bottom. The bottom gap here for this window is 1.9%. I'm going to want to put that filter here in this alert window because it's not going to translate the sort order and it doesn't have an alert event. So coming over here, all I'd want to do is go search gap. I'm going to do the gap percent. I'm going to add that. And in this case, I'm going to put the minimum gap is going to be 1.9. So now effectively, I'm kind of working from a similar type of universe. What other things are in this particular window? It should be the same filters that we had here originally. So now I've got my gap. I'm looking for a new high. So essentially, I've taken it and I've converted it into an alert window. Sort of. So I hope that helped you, Robert. So I do not have, I do not have anything like that. I don't have a list of research papers, memos, or white papers available. Well, you know, Ronald, the interesting thing about the market, you know, you're talking about every day is kind of showing some different types of strategies, different strategies being successful. Well, I mean, the market's pretty dynamic, and it's actually been really extremely volatile lately. We've had gaps and really violent moves, and so it's been really difficult out there for sure. And because the market is different every day, you're going to find different strategies do different things. But you're going to find things like sunrise movers. You know, it's only going to trigger on a day where certain types of market events are lining up, where the market's not up too much, it's not down too much. It's moved a certain amount over the last 15 minutes. So there are certain characteristics, but the market is extremely dynamic. And that's why we're doing a bevy of different strategies to hopefully capitalize on what's happening that specific day. So, Robert, one of the reasons why we don't allow you to download the strategies that are used by Holly is because they're essentially updated every day. And it's what we call the quantitative combine. So we have, what is it, about 50 different base strategies. And those base strategies based upon the day's market will get updated every day. It's going to use the odds maker technology. It's not using the odds maker per se, but it goes through and does the analysis of all of its filters and which filters would be better to update, which filters would be better to remove. So it does all of that analysis every day, and in the process of doing that, it changes filters, it adds filters, and removes filters. So by giving you the strategy, it's something that's potentially something that could erode and is not being updated. And that's why we developed the AI to essentially go through that functionality every single day. All right, guys, let me bring back our presentation. So no, right now the strategies are not available to download. They're just on the interface, on the software itself. So guys, we're a software as a service, subscription service. This is our daily rate for both the standard and the premium. Hey Scott, do we not have a better discount going on right now? I thought I saw something coming through, or did it just expire? Anyway,
there is a sale if you're on our mailing list. So make sure you sign up for one of the ebooks or something.
Yes.
You get the
so sign up for the ebooks, guys, and we'll get another discount out to you. I know there's a back to school special, so do that and you'll get a little bit better deal. This is the trading room I was talking about earlier. Get there from our website on our homepage. Just select trading room, and it looks a little bit different. We've upgraded the software, and but essentially you're going to have the same effect. So check it out right there. That's Barry's room. We have a podcast we do every Friday. I think we've probably taken a bit of a hiatus because Dan's the one that usually does that, and he's been on vacation for the last couple weeks or so. These are the ebooks that I suggest that you download, take a look at. Some different setups and some different trading environments here, but go to trade-ideas.com/setup. That'll also get you on the mailing list. We're easily reachable via Twitter, Facebook, phone. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of us, info@trade-ideas.com. Guys, thank you very much. This wasn't my best work today, but I do appreciate you guys spending the time with me to so that I can talk to you about trade ideas and show you what we do. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Scott?
Sounds good. There will be a recording up later on tonight or tomorrow, so keep an eye out for your email from GoToWebinar tomorrow with the link. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.